Hello, my fellow disabled vets perspective, and yes, we are live a little early because Pete told me so. I mean, this is early, but you know what? We got some news coming up. We're going to be able to keep you entertained, I think, for the next hour and 10 minutes or something like that. Silent Sentry, welcome. Thank you. Donated a lemon already. Appreciate you. Over there on D Live. Yep, got some good followers on D Live. Numbers are building up over there. I'm going to do this little thing and get this thing kicked off with a request. If you have not followed me on D Live, please take a minute and hit that link I just put underneath my name there and follow me on D Live, because it's a matter of time before their tube decides they're done with us and kicks us all out of here. Well, thank you, Jeff. You've only missed it by a month. But hello, everybody. Batteries Addiction, Luciano, Preacher, good to see you. Kristen B, Spirit Box, Paranormal Dundee, how you doing? Or should I say, how you going? Jeff B, good to see you. Jersey, Linda, hey there. Eric Snault twice. Patty, good to see you. Becky Gerard, Michael Adrian, Dog Adopter. Yeah, I did that too. I got my little penny. Margot, good to see you. 223. Old Broad, how you doing, Duke? Don Trump. It's official. We're presidential now. Wolves Among Sheep. Born Eraser, good to see you guys. Mima McDougal, how you doing? I got some new faces over here, so that's cool. Just I got to make sure that I get that link where Mr. Pete can get it, because boy, do we have some stuff to go over today. I mean, to tell you, and he's already started. He got us warmed up on the politics. So as soon as I get him to jump in there, look at all those lemons. Thank you. Freebird, DM, Paul Duke, and Huey Cobra. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Waving my hand at the bear. How you doing? Bonnie Moore, how you doing? Detroit Prepping, welcome. Yeah, I seen that. I tried to watch it, but I had Dodge troubles. Yeah, the old dog. All right, Franny Pierce, thank you for coming. Hurry up, Pete. I'm just trying to get him motivated. SGT Bob just started following me on D Live. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's good to get everybody over there, because at some point they're going to be done with us, and we need to have another place to get the information to you. Susan Q, how you doing? Did you see Dave? I did see that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Yes, we did. My wife and I watched that together with jaws dropped, going, what? So it's all good. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado or don't, Pete.
Hey,
the Patriot. How are you today, sir?
I am wonderful. How about yourself?
Exhilarating.
Oh, good.
Oh, if I was doing anything, they'd probably ban me. 12B, how you doing? Auctions for you. Welcome. I can start now. Good.
Yes, please.
Auctions for you. Just set start now, so we're set. All right. Just so happens that my first story, RRC Podcast just donated a diamond. Oh, that's cool. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Wow.
Nice.
Way to go there, boy. I tell you what. All right. I wanted to open up our show with a little talk about politics. You may have heard of a couple of folks that are running as our Democrat candidates, or unless you haven't, I had, but just so happens they might have had a little chat with each other last night. And come to think of it, I believe you actually do know about this, because I think I remember you talking about it.
Okay.
But all I can say is, what the hell are they thinking? All right.
I don't know.
Yes. Don't laugh at me. Only laugh with me.
Absolutely.
All right. Start this out. Yeah, with former Vice President Joe Biden. Was he ever a vice president, or was he just a prop to protect the president? But, that's another question. Anyway, Joe Biden made a series of blunders in a matter of seconds during Sunday night's Democrat debate during his response to a question about how he'd handle coronavirus as president. First, he mixed up the swine flu and coronavirus. Then he referred to the H1N1 as N1H1. And after that, he forgot what Ebola was called and said, what happened in Africa. Well, here is a quote. We should already be sitting down and planning where we're going to put these temporary hospitals, he said. And we can do that. We did that. We've been through this before with the coronavirus. We've been through this. I mean, excuse me, we've been through this before with dealing with the virus that the N1H1 virus, as well as what happened in Africa. We provided these hospitals dealing with these great pandemics because they were awesome. And we were able to do this quickly, and people would have a place to go. But we also have to provide equipment to protect the first responders, and that's not being done. Ladies and gentlemen, if you followed that quote, God bless you. God help you, because that was just nuts. Please, Pete, tell me I'm wrong.
See, that's why I didn't say that quote in my show, because it was just way too much. It was just way too much.
Chicken. I don't have the nerve to try it.
But you know what? If I was Bernie last night,
okay.
If I was Bernie last night, I would have said, Joe, you let 1 million people get infected and 17,000 people die before you made a national emergency. And that would have just floored them. But of course, Bernie didn't do that because it would have made them look bad.
Hello, whatever. Chris. Dirty rotten scoundrel, or imbecile, how you doing? Good Monday afternoon to you too, over there at D-Live. Yeah, it's when that man speaks, all I can do is just kind of sit there and go, what? This is their genius that they see as their Lord and Savior of the Democrat Party. And I would call him a complete moron, except I think that he still has some parts missing, like a brain. Therefore, he can't be a complete moron. He can only be a moron. But, yeah. Anyway, so we're going to skip forward now, and we're going to go to his partner in crime, the other one known as, what was his name again? Okay, you got to help me out. Is there somebody else running against Biden? I can't remember.
Bernie.
Oh, you know what? That's him. Jeez. Uncle Bernie, right. That's
Uncle Bernie.
I didn't even remember. I couldn't remember if there was somebody else running against him or not.
Medicare
we're going to be talking about the one that talks about the millionaires and the billionaires. He doesn't want any more millionaires. Wait a minute. I'm a millionaire, 1%. So I don't want any more billionaires.
That's right.
Yes.
I'm a millionaire.
Can take care of the rest of the country. Ugh. But I don't like millionaires. But wait. There's got to be a billionaire in here somewhere that I cannot like.
That's right.
Anyway, so did he say anything of substance last night besides billionaires?
No.
Really? In anything?
No.
Well, good. I believe our political
substance.
Segment is over.
Yeah, there was nothing. Seriously, there was nothing of substance that this guy said. Nothing.
Bernie forgets to explain why he should be president. I'll give him just a second or two of airtime like I did for his partner in crime. No need to keep the Baltimore and Scottsdale open because Joe Biden denied. dined and Bernie Sanders Sunday night. Did he really? I bet that bites. Yes, it's true. The Vermont senator opposed the nation's ruinous free trade agreements when the ex-vice president did not. It's also right that the former Delaware senator got Iraq wrong, bequeathing pointless, murderous, and authority to George Bush's White House. Also true. Biden callously remarked that the nation's bankruptcy laws, by burying the hatchet with Elizabeth Warren, he has all but admitted this. Did that make any sense?
Yeah.
Joe Biden keeps losing battles and winning wars. He may be his party's sin eater, but he keeps moving forward only because they're pushing him on a dolly. Bernie may have won the Nevada primary, but to watch the last month of Democrat politics is to watch the lifetime server lose it all at the table to a Vegas card shark. It doesn't matter if you have flush or if you fold. The most embarrassing moment for the fading political commodity, I guess they're calling him, in the debate Sunday night was being reminded by CNN's moderator to explain what he would do to address the COVID-19 crisis. Now he had
no.
Okay. They're going to ignore pretty much Uncle Bernie because they want Biden up front. So we're going to just call that a complete it on politics. You can even give me an applause for that if you like, because I don't know if I even said anything that helps anybody understand what the hell is going on. Thank you.
Hey, I watched the whole debate and I still don't understand what the hell's going on. So don't feel bad.
God love you. That kind of sacrifice, I mean, very few would be willing to do that for the rest of the country. And
my left eye is still twitching.
You should get a medal.
My left eye is still twitching.
Well, I might want to see somebody about that.
Yeah, I'm probably going. Well, I don't want to get quarantined. But I do have a story that.
Well, that's true.
That nobody in the news. Nobody in the news is really mentioning, which I think is a pretty significant story. But
oh, please,
nobody cares. So a rogue gunman shoots up.
I might care a little bit.
You probably will. Shoots up Springfield, crashes car, kills 4, including a police officer. So a gunman opened fire inside a gas station in Missouri late Sunday evening, killing 4 people, including a police officer. Springfield Police Chief Paul Williams said in a statement on Monday that another officer and a citizen were also injured during the rampage. Police have been notified that the gunman was driving around, shooting at multiple locations around Springfield before crashing into a come-and-go gas station.
So he came and went?
I'm not laughing at this story, but that's what it says, a come and go gas station and convenience store.
It's a come and go. Or
okay, at this point, Williams said the gunman ran inside and began shooting. The first 2 officers who arrived at the scene were shot. When additional officers arrived at the scene, they removed the injured officer from the store and found 3 citizens and the gunman dead. His death appeared to have been from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, according to Williams. Officer Christopher Walsh died at the hospital. He was a Springfield police officer for 3.5 years and was an Army veteran. He was active in the Army, and he was active in the Army Reserves. Officer Josiah Overton, whose injuries are not life-threatening, has been in Springfield Police for 2 years. Both officers showed significant bravery and were honored for their heroic actions. And they haven't made the identities of the victims public yet. Now, this just goes to show you how deep this stuff is that's going on right now, that the mainstream media would not report on a mass shooting. This is a mass shooting. More people died here than has from the beer cold yesterday. And they haven't said a word about it.
But there's two problems with it. There's two problems with that story.
What's the two
One
problems?
of them is I'm believing that one of them might have to do with race. The race doesn't fit the narrative. And number two is the left hates cops. They hate the military, and they hate anybody that would defend the citizenry. So two things break their narrative, so they couldn't possibly risk putting that on the news and changing what they've built up for years.
Mm-hmm. Good Lord. So if it would have been a white person, which we don't even know the identity of the gunman, but if it would have been a known white person with maybe an AR-14 assault highlighter shooting up a convenience store and killing a cop, it would have been all over the news. And wearing a MAGA hat.
Yeah.
Right? It would have been all over the news.
Right.
What a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They can't let go of the sniffles because the sniffles is their last Hail Mary. And I just did my Inside Veterans Affairs last night, and every story, even having to do with the military, has to do with the sniffles. I couldn't even, in the cover stories, I couldn't even find the name of the gentleman serving in Iraq that fell due to the rocket attacks.
No.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That a sniffle can override recognition on military newspapers. It disgusted me. Thank God I had somebody on D-Live that happened to know their names, because when our fallen heroes hit the ground, I want to acknowledge them, and I really felt bad yesterday that I couldn't find their names. It was disgusting.
Yep.
But it's going to be the same way today. Schiff and staff under quarantine. Well, hopefully they'll be put in a safe place.
Yes.
Like, I hear Cuba's nice this time of year.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Boy, I'll tell you what, we got some things happening. Before we get into the only headline that you can possibly find on any newspaper anywhere at all, we're going to talk about a couple of things that might have snuck under the wire. First, I need to give total and complete credit to Mr. Brad Bishop, the Lions Republic Entertainment. I just watched a video from him this morning, found out that the property in Boca Raton that belongs to one Oprah Winfrey has been seized. They took it. They are excavating the property. They're looking for something on the property. And if people don't know this by now, I don't care what you think of the woman. Yeah, she's a billionaire. She's got her tentacles in everything.
She's not a billionaire.
But other than
she's a billionaire.
But the point is, a billionaire, sorry. Millionaires and billionaires. I got to remember the billionaires. But
that's right.
So the point is, even though she can give you a car and you get a car and you get a car and everybody gets a goddamn car, then, other than that, she's got a dark side. And I hope that it comes out. I hope they don't let her decide to skate quietly into the night, because that woman is a madam. And I'm amazed that I still have a live feed going right now, because I figured talking about that woman would get this thing interrupted in a moment. But
now
it's happening, folks.
I was going to do a video on that. Upload video on that. But isn't it funny? Now you tell me if it's funny or not. That right after Harvey Weinstein, Harvey gets 23 years in prison. And then all of a sudden, they're searching Oprah's property in Boca Raton. Is that a coincidence?
Yeah, well, apparently there was originally 51 years. Well, he pleaded down. I don't know if it's going to help him because he's still going to be tried in L.A. for the crimes over there. So he'll probably get
Mhm.
those added back onto the other end. But yeah, apparently he pleaded down and sprang loose a whole slew of people to go check out. So yeah, it's happening. I also listened to another buddy of mine, old Dave, over there on Inglorious Patriot this morning.
Mhm.
And man, he has an inside source that says you guys need to be keeping an eye out on some people. There's going to be some very famous people that are all of a sudden going to be quarantined because of the sniffles.
So,
Um,
do you
yeah,
find it funny?
Tom Hanks is definitely one of them. Uh,
Do you find it funny that Adam Schiff and his staff are being quarantined? They're being put out of circulation. You don't find that funny? I do.
oh, it's just hilarious. I am just busting a gut inside at this moment.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's very convenient. But here's the thing. This is going to transition us into the only topic in the entire news in the entire world, but there's something going on in the background because the whole world is closing for business. I just listened this morning. I listened to Headlines with a Voice, and on that one, there was a whole list of European countries that have all of a sudden closed their borders. They're stopping interaction between people. Everybody's being sent home. Businesses are being closed. Schools being closed. Everything is being closed. So the something bigger than the sniffles is going on because if you look at the world population of people who have passed on because of this thing, it's a blip. And yeah, it doesn't lessen the fact that the disease is hitting a lot of people, but it's it's not as big a disease as the world is trying to make it at this point. Yeah, people are getting exposed, they're getting sick, but the reality is many people are getting better. They're just going through it. They're annoyed by it, but they're getting better. So, you
You
know,
want to know something funny?
go ahead.
If you
Here we go with funny again.
something a left wing media show, and then you watch a right wing media show, they're saying, look at the numbers. 125 or 160,000 people were infected, but 80,000 people have recovered. And there's only 6,000 deaths worldwide. Worldwide. In the United States, 67 people have died from this virus, from complications. They neglect to mention that 29 out of those 67 that have passed away from this were in one place. That nursing home up in Seattle, that one place, 29 residents passed because of their advanced age and underlying respiratory problems.
Right.
I mean, that's not something that's funny, but what
Thank you for that,
it is,
DM.
is they're trying to explode this to make it. They're holding onto the soap too tight because the numbers aren't there to back them up.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is that we know the media got a hold of this thing. I'm pretty sure that this thing is the last hoorah that the deep state tried to throw out there to derail the happening, and the media has pushed awfully hard, and they've gotten away with some of this because they've created an incredible panic.
Yes.
If you need toilet paper, you might want to figure something else out. Our grocery stores around here are decimated. And when the food is gone and somebody's going to get that last can of beans, there could be some real serious issues. So the media has done well to get the people in a complete panic. They're hoping that we will end up in the streets and that we will turn on everybody and, fight amongst ourselves so that they can continue with their path. But
just
I
not going
think
to
that's
happen.
part of the reason everybody home, putting the kids in the house instead of in schools to protect them from false flags. Everything is lining up so that it looks like everybody's trying to be protected from something other than a sniffles.
That's right.
Thank you, DPFX. Appreciate you. Anyway, so what I wanted to read here is unredacted with Kurt Schlischer, what we're learning from the sniffles. And I've already said the damn name a couple of times, so there's a risk of this video being removed, but we'll see if it allows to carry, because they may not even mess with it since I'm such a tiny little channel and so innocent. It's time for another uncensored and unfiltered episode of Unredacted with Kurt Schlischer. As the sniffles crisis and panic continues, Kurt Schlischer breaks down what America is learning from the sniffles. How liberals are hoping this is President Trump's Hurricane Katrina. I hope everybody dies. And what changes the nation may need to make in the future to better prepare. If you are prepared, you never have to get prepared. All right, so let's see here. Anyway, so I'm trying to find the actual story here because that was just a header, and you know what? I bet you they're going to make me a. Yeah, they're going to want me to. They want me to become a paid subscriber. I'm sorry, that story is just going to end right there. But the point is, we're going to tell you what we learned by ourselves. What did we learn, Pete? See how I tossed that to you there?
You know what? I don't know. It's hard to say what we learn from what the media is telling us, because I don't want to pay for their damn subscription, because I didn't learn anything.
Right. Well, so what have we learned as individuals that are outside of the fishbowl looking in, and instead of in the fishbowl looking out?
Well, we learned.
Don't worry, you got half an hour more.
We learned what they want us to do. That's what we're learning. We're learning what they want us to do. They want us to panic. They want us to freak out. They want us to say, oh my God, we need to go get stuff. We're going to be locked in our houses. We're going to.
Right.
That's what we're learning. The people who have a little bit of wokeness, the ones who are on the fence about, is this deep state stuff real, or are these people wackos? And the Brian Stelters are the good guys. They should look at what's happening now and say, is this where they really want us to be? Do they want us to be in a mass panic? Do they want to suspend our 2nd, 4th, 13th, and 10th Amendments? Do they really want to take our Constitution away from us? And then watch TV and watch it happen in real time.
Yep.
Right? You watch it happen in real time.
Well, this is the thing. That's what I've been saying, is you got to watch these liberal cities, because they're using the Emergency Powers Act to gain control of their populace. They're putting in things like, oh, we're going to stop the sale of ammo. We're going to close the bars. We're going to stop the sale of booze. All these things are going to do this massive power grab, but they're going to use the national security as their excuse. But everything I see tells me that they want the Patriots on the streets. And you got one side that's hoping that the Patriots hit the streets. You got the other side hoping that the Patriots stay at the house, take care of their families. So it is a very significant tug of war right now between the good and the evil. And a lot's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. It's going to get much worse out here before it starts to plateau and taper off.
Very quickly.
Everybody needs to keep a level head. Yeah. Yeah. We are potentially a week away from lockdown, just like the other countries around the world. So if we get locked down, then
if our president, and he's been saying it now for the last couple of days, indirectly, he's been saying it indirectly when he went out there on the podium. He's supposed to have another press conference today. The Sniffles people, vice president, he went out there the other day and said everybody needs to calm down. Calm down. What he needs to do is he needs to come out and say, if the media keeps stoking this panic, I will shut down all media outlets, because you're doing nothing but endangering the national security of the United States. And you will get the news from my administration of what's going on and what to do.
I think that's a brilliant idea.
It is a brilliant idea.
The emergency, he uses that thing. He's tested it before where he can do an emergency broadcast on the phone. Yeah. But frankly, he could also do a daily fireside chat. And it doesn't even have to be him. He still has a media team. So it could be his media liaison that does this fireside chat with him doing his spot maybe once a week or whatever. Just tell everybody, I got this. But
here under the guise of a national emergency, right? Under the guise of a national emergency, under the Stafford Act, the president can take control of all media. He can take control of all media and control the narrative out of the White House. Right. Unless he's doing
under
this
that, Patriot Act.
I said Patriot Act. I said Stafford Act.
Obama did that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Patriot Act allows him to take control of a lot more than just media.
Yeah,
he can literally take control of
I said
retail.
the Stafford Act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew which one you were talking about.
Thank you.
But that's the point, though. He can literally take control of everything.
Yes.
So the fact he isn't, it shows a lot of restraint. Kevin Morfan, how you doing? Anyway, so I wanted to mention real quick, since we're starting on this topic right now, is we need prayers for Belinda, because she went in for the sniffles test because she's been sick for like 2 months now. So need to keep her in the prayers.
Yes.
California Critic, hola Holmes, que onda se loco, what's happening? All the way out there in the other coast with Pete.
Yep.
Orale, vacho, what's happening? All right, so anyway, since we're on the subject, we are going to talk about some of the things that are being threatened right now. One thing is, I'm hearing that there's a possibility of a curfew at 8 o'clock. The Supreme Court is postponing oral arguments. Major retailers are shutting their doors, and several U.S. cities have ordered bars and restaurants to close in the last-ditch effort to stem the spread of the virus. When you look at the projections, there's every chance that we could be Italy, which means lockdown. The U.S. Surgeon General warned Monday widespread social distancing could help change that trajectory. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is urging a nationwide halt to gatherings of more than 50 people. Why do they put a stupid number, 50 people? What if 3 of those people are supposedly infected? It's going back to what I said. The government gives you truth in increments, but they also give you restrictions in increments. Like this one, we're starting with 50 people. oh, we need to reduce that number down to 25 people. We really need people to reduce those numbers. And then another few days, oh, I don't know. I think 10 people or less. And then we're going to get to the point, I think everybody needs to go home, shut the door, bar the windows, and go to sleep. So it's increments of restriction. And we're starting with the 50, and we're starting with the threat of a curfew. It's a slow progression to complete and total lockdown. And I'm thinking within 7 to 10 days. That's just what I got.
It may be less than that.
About 3,500 coronas case. Right, it could be any day. About 3,500, snipple cases have been reported in the United States. Through experts believe the true number is much higher. I know it's much higher because we just got our tests over in Pensacola, and more than 100 people called and requested them, and they've only tested 30 people so far, and they've only had the test for they had in 90 minutes. They tested 30 people. They just got the test this morning, so everything at this point is guesswork.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it says here more people have now died from the sniffles outside of China than inside. No, they haven't. A worried sign of how quickly the virus has spread beyond the country where it was first emerged. Oh, you mean the country where you can't say the words Wuhan virus because it's racist, or the Kung flu, or any of that stuff, even though that's where it came from. But I digress.
Yep.
The European Union is proposing that non-essential travel to most of the continent is restricted for 30 days. The less travel, the more we can contain the virus. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said.
Says you.
Anyway, so easy for me to say, right? But this is the thing. I mean, you can elaborate on that if you like, because I see a lot of stupidity, but I also see every sign in the world of something way beyond the sniffles is getting ready to go down. When this would be the point where your conspiracy hat should be on, but
when the mainstream media, when your mainstream media people start to ignore everything else and concentrate on one thing that's not even anywhere near to where it was in Wuhan. Okay? That means they're distracting you from something else. They're distracting you from something else.
Right.
Okay? Because when I'll give you a perfect example. Perfect example. When the CIA
80 people arrested in the Vatican?
The FBI, hold on, when the FBI went to Epstein Island, okay, and found a whole bunch of stuff. They were crawling in windows, pulling out computers, doing this, doing that. They found cement holes in the ground. And then all of a sudden, it was all over the news. FBI at Epstein Island, news at 11, news at 10, news at 8, news at 7. Then what happened? Epstein committed suicide. Right?
Thank you, Melody, for the ice cream.
Everybody
delicious.
Freaked out about Epstein. Epstein. Now listen to this. Oprah Winfrey, her property in the United States is being searched right now with a warrant from the FBI. Does anybody hear about that? I'm sorry. Did anybody hear about that? No. 300 people in Saudi Arabia are being arrested. Was that all on any of the mainstream media channels? I didn't hear that. 80 people in the Vatican. La Carbonera went over there and took them right out of the Vatican.
2020.
Where's that at?
Truth Seeker 2020 says the White House is saying live right now that the millennials, they are the cure, are the core to defeating this virus.
Absolutely.
Oh my God! I hope that was a joke.
No, that's the truth. If he's saying that, that's the truth, because those are the ones who are recovering the fastest. And those antibodies that they have in their body
I
are
meant
going
they
to
would
be
be
the
the ones
ones to
taking
use the
care of
cure.
us.
I mean, they're not the smartest people in the world,
Yeah.
but they're young and healthy.
Oh, okay. So lab rats, that works.
Pretty much.
These controllers that are supposed to be geniuses and are totally predictable, too many of us. Not so genius. They are a bunch of immoral, extreme,
Nihilistic,
narcissistic,
Satanist
Satanists.
ignoramuses.
Yeah, that was what I was saying.
That's exactly right.
But you probably said it much better than I did.
Nothing
Boca Raton is roped off and being investigated. Yes, absolutely.
and nothing is being reported about it.
But yeah, there were 80 people. Right, because there's every single article is the same. It's the sniffles. What do you think about the storm? Oh, God, just a second, just dove off. Susan Q, what do you think about this storm covering all of the U.S. this week, along with the quarantines and lockdowns? The storm is upon us. Wheels up, silent running, green lights on the White House. Yes, go Trump. Oh, I'm paying attention. I'm watching the signs. A couple of years ago, someone in Chuck Todd's show said if we could get rid of everyone over 50, we'd be fine. And it was a woman. I don't remember who. Bill Gates has also said that.
Yes, he has.
Many
And that's
people
on the YouTubes.
have said that because
it's on the YouTubes.
Yeah, the elderly are very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there have been arrests, very quiet ones. Some of them are being covered like quarantines, but others are not. In the Vatican, apparently, some people in the finance division of the Vatican, approximately 80 people, have been arrested, and they're being investigated. Yeah, they're being investigated for financial crimes and trafficking.
Now, answer me this, Alex.
Yeah, the arrests are being done and the sniffles are covered. Right.
3 days ago, it came out on a blip on the news that Justin Trudeau's wife and Justin Trudeau may possibly have it, but his wife was already tested for the sniffles and has it. I haven't heard hide or hair of where the leader of Canada and the first lady of Canada is. Are they dead? Are they alive? Are they being quarantined? Are they being treated? That's the biggest country to the north of us. Where are they at? Why wouldn't Tom Hanks and his wife want to come back to the United States to be treated for this virus? Why are they staying in Australia? They could hire a private plane, put the pilot in a hazmat suit.
I think there's a lockdown involved with that, or a lockup. But
he's an American
rumor
citizen.
has it that this morning Justin Trudeau, right? Yeah, but I'm not talking about a lockdown by Australians. I'm talking about a mandatory lock-in on on the U.S. side. But again, we're getting into unverified speculation, but there are some sources that are giving a little bit of info. But the other thing, what I was saying was there's a chance that Justin Trudeau may have had an indictment unsealed on him today. And at the same time, there was a statement that he is going to be going into self-quarantine along with his wife. So another convenient one. But his is apparently bribery, extortion, a few things. It's a list. It would get him taken care of for quite some time. Peggy Baru, how you doing? Baru. What are you listening to?
Nothing. the president.
Okay.
I just find it
Okay.
hard to
Well,
believe.
that's not quite nothing.
I find it hard to believe that all they can talk about on CNN is this. Where's the Pope? Where is the Pope at? They showed a picture of the Pope standing in his room waving to St. Peter's Square with nobody in it. What happened to you, Alex?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, I was getting some information from my stagehand. Just a reminder, since I did a fairly short little video about it, I needed to do a little reminder about the thing called the Banker's Holiday. It is not a warm, fluffy event that consists of gifts and praise.
Yeah.
It's a very sinister thing.
Yeah.
That you guys need to be aware of, and the real possibility, because a $700 billion or $500 billion bailout just happened about 3 days ago on a single bank. So the banks are about to crap. And with a banker's holiday, it means that the banks close, and whatever money you have in the bank, they can take and do a bail-in, and you are never to see your money again. It is totally legal, because when you put your money in the bank, it is their money. They choose to give it back to you out of courtesy when you ask for a draft or a deposit, or a withdrawal rather. But there are clauses in there that cover banks, and it's all under the Federal Reserve Act, and it's a very sinister thing. The bankers have never been our friends, and if you have a lot of cash in the bank, you need to try to maybe put it into precious metals. You need to try to get it out and just put it away for now. But if they do a banker's holiday, you're going to lose whatever you have, and you need to be aware of it.
Yep.
But anyway, that was from my stagehand. She wanted me to get that before I forgot. 80 people arrested in the Vatican. Yeah, don't go out and blow all your money on toilet paper and everything, because this panic is manufactured. So don't go broke trying to save yourself for a 60-day lock-in. Just get to some of the basic things that you need, and be ready to entertain yourself at the house. Anyway, so where are we now? All right, continuing with the subject, as I said, it's the only thing in the news, period, unless you happen to be lucky enough to land on another article somewhere by accident. The question remains, how bad can it get here?
I have an article that pertains to that.
Please hit me with it.
Okay. Far left activists encouraging people to loot stores during Sniffles panic.
Of course they are.
Yeah. To no one's shock, far left activists are now encouraging people to shoplift and loot as the Sniffles panic continues to sweep the nation. Communist activist Wendy Trevino, who purports to be some kind of author and grant writer, seems to be spearheading this on her Twitter page. Okay, Trevino is an author and published by Commune Editions. Commune, huh? Let me guess, she must be a Bernie Sanders supporter, right? And also the communist poetry of the imprint AK Press, a pro-Antifa publishing house that has published pro-anarchist works like Full Spectrum Resistance. So this person who is a communist is now telling people,
you're right, Bill C.
Telling people to go out, go and loot, go do this, go do that. Because it's all, this is what we need to have happen. And then in her tweet, she done told people, and don't rat out the people that you see shoplifting. Now, does that fit into the mainstream media narrative? panic, 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 panic.
Well,
And then you have their military wing
here's
of
the
the
thing.
left-wing media telling you go loot stuff.
Yeah, well, here's something to think about. You got to think about the primary owners of industry, of business. There's one side of this country that wants to be fully supported and controlled by the government. There's another side of this country that wants total independence and the freedom to use capitalism and to grow. Well, I think you know which side is which. And it's
Yeah.
not surprising to me that the side on the left over there would be telling people to go and basically destroy the things of the people on the right, because it's going back to the exact same thing we're talking about, trying to get people to retaliate against each other, to get in the streets.
Get in the streets,
because
start
they
fighting.
want chaos. Yeah, with the chaos, they can come with the order. And they want to create the panic, create the cure, and then create the calm. But once they create the calm, you've lost everything you ever thought you had.
That's right. That's right. Once you get the
So
people at each other's throats,
surprise me.
you get the people at each other's throats. There's only two options. There's only two options. You either have the military come in and break it up, or the UN, like they do on a peacekeeping mission in an African country. Those are your two choices.
That would turn out poorly.
Well, they still don't understand that the United States is the most heavily armed country on the planet. They don't understand that fact. They don't understand by suspending gun sales. By suspending gun sales and ammunition is not going to stop people from getting guns. They don't understand this.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, they figure their last-minute gun laws that they're trying to use the Emergency Powers Act to implement will save the world. But they really want the people in the streets, but I don't think they're ready for what will happen if they push that far and they actually get their dream of dreams to happen. It's just not going to be healthy.
No, it's not going to be healthy for either.
Anyway,
for either side.
Yeah. What it says here, it says, how bad could it get? Washington Governor Jay Inslee didn't mince words on March 10th when he said up to 64,000 people could be infected with the sniffles in his state alone in 2 months. That would approach the number today in the whole of China, which has some 200 times the population. For a state with only 162 known cases at the time of Inslee's remarks, the projection may be sounding dire and unrealistic, but by March 14th, the state's count was at least 642, revealing how confirmed cases can quickly double and double again, especially when most of them are presumed positive because they've not had tests. So, to understand what could happen next in the U.S., consider events in Italy and a country with 21,000 cases and counting, the second largest number after China. On 8 March, an Italian doctor, Daniela Maxinini, recounted in a blog post the sense of early calm as hospitals got ready and slowly emptied of elective patients, creating an atmosphere of surreal silence and emptiness that was still did not understand. They were readying for a war that Massanini wasn't sure would come. This is another situation we've got to look at. Whether these cases are, most of them are not going to be terminal, but there are going to be a number of people that are going to need intensive care. They're going to need pressurized oxygen, things like that if they get the pneumonia. One of the problems that this sniffles will create is overwhelming hospitals because we don't have the capacity for the number of people. And again, it goes to the point of the sniffles may not be the thing that takes the people out. The run on the food and your story about going in and looting these places, that's going to be kind of funny because when we went to our grocery stores yesterday to finalize our last time out, they were empty. So what the hell are they going to loot? So the big fear now is people in a panic looking for food because they'll do anything they have to do to feed their families. And if the stores don't have food, guess where they're coming?
Yep.
So very difficult decisions will have to be made. People are going to make very dumb decisions, and we're going to lose people because of the panic, not because of the sniffles.
No.
And the same thing when the hospitals get overrun. When there's nowhere to put anybody, the doctors start having to make choices like they have to make in wartime. They have to mark the patients as basically savable or not.
That's
and
what
they
they're
have
doing
to
in
decide
Italy.
who is worth saving.
That's what they're doing
Right.
in Italy right now.
And that's another thing. That's the thing that's going to lead to more death than the actual virus itself. Is we've got the panic and then the overwhelming of the facilities. So also the fact that they didn't think to order enough PPE equipment to prepare for stuff like this because it'll never happen to us, even though the psychopaths on the left have been trying to create the perfect virus for years, and every election season they release a new one to see if that's the one it'll take. So this one they were pretty successful with. I guess they saved it for President Trump because they wanted to have the most bang for the buck. The other ones were just designed to keep people away from the voting booths.
It's not the lethality of this virus. It's the panic that the media is causing about it. That's what the weapon is here. Okay? Because in this live stream that we've done right now, more than 6,000 people have died. Either from underlying problems, car crashes, being shot, being run over by buses, whatever. Death happens every day. It's the media that's going to perpetuate the problem in this country, not this virus. Sorry, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday, DM.
Yeah. No, you're doing fine. Is it really her birthday, or is this another Jeff?
No, it's
B
not
joke?
her birthday, but Jeff Brandow said it
Jeff
was.
B, you and I, when we have our meet and greet, we're gonna have a chat. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna have a chat with Jeff when we see him.
Yeah. So we'll just go. We'll
all
just
right.
go
So this is a
happy
story
birthday.
I found actually. Okay. Well, happy birthday, DM. Fine. We'll do it. All right. Whole Foods says employees should consider donating paid vacation days during the sniffles. They want their employees to donate their sick days to the store so they can be handed out to other employees. And I don't know which part of kiss my ass the store wouldn't understand if they tried to pull that crap with me. It's not up to the employees to cover a business in a situation where things are out of the control of the employee. The businesses, they've got insurance, they've got lobbyists, they've got people that can push for this legislation to give them bailouts so that they can float during this event. Do not ask employees to donate anything to save your business if you don't plan on giving those employees something in return at the end of said event, because a business can get their insurance. They can also write off tax losses. They can do all kinds of things to recover from this event. Employees cannot. So quit trying to stick it to the employees. It's just stupid.
Now, I'll tell you something about that.
Anyway.
About that real quick. When I worked at the VA, there was a guy who came in just about a week. He was there just about a week, and he didn't have any sick days accumulated, none of that stuff. Matter of fact, his health insurance didn't even kick in yet. and his father died. His father passed away. He was in a different state. And he's like, you know what? It took me 9 months to get this job at the VA. And now I have to take off for a week. And I don't have any sick days, and I'm probably going to get fired. So what the whole crew did where I worked was we all donated 2 sick days to him. 1 sick day to take the day off and 1 sick day with pay. So he can go to his father's funeral. Now, I did something like that for that reason. And he didn't lose his job, by the way. But for what you're saying is absolutely wrong. It's wrong, and it should never be.
Hold the presses, drop it like it's Scott. Just entered the building.
Yes. Well, that's not a good thing.
All right. Thank you. Nice save. Real quick, I wanted to say that we've got Mr. Preacher up here in the chat, and he's an up-and-coming YouTuber, and
is he really?
he needs to get a little bit of a boost. He's going to start doing some remote stuff, yeah, and he needs to get his channel numbers up, doing live shoots. If you guys have not picked up Preacher, can you please take a minute and pick him up with your subscriptions and help my brother out there? Appreciate you. DM is posting his link, so please hit that and follow Preacher. Thank you. All right, so what you did was admirable, and it would be something that I would do as well.
Right, but that's a different circumstance.
Just trying to
you were talking
trying
about.
To get your employees to right. The other one, the CEO is trying to get his employees to float their company. No. And I'm sorry, but that's wrong in just way too many ways.
No, you're right. It is wrong.
Anyway, so just a little weather bulletin I wanted to throw in there just to break something up a little bit, and then we'll get back to some more dismal news. We're getting close to our top of our hour here. Earth just had its second warmest winter. Apparently, the NOAA finds, National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, found out that we had the second warmest winter. So the left is going to ride that like it's some kind of brimable, and they're going for the full 8 seconds. But yeah, I'm going to let you know that the climatic changes on the planet have happened for billions of years. So maybe that's why Uncle Bernie doesn't like the Earth, because it's billions of years old, because the billionaires are changing the weather. So
it could be.
Anyway, I thought I'd throw that out there. So yeah, we've definitely had that's okay. I don't like snow, and you guys up north can have it. But anyhow, I wanted to use my closing article here, and I hope you have something to close with after this. But I think that you guys might know about the heated race in Florida. Well, thank you. With Ron DeSantis and Andrew Gillum. Well, what's happening here is some of the left is being exposed for the nastiness that they are internally, and the group that they hang out in. Our formal governor candidate, Andrew Gillum, entering rehab, stepping back from politics following a Miami hotel incident. So if you haven't heard, this man was caught with methamphetamines and male prostitutes and porn stars in a hotel room in Florida. And after the incident, he was allowed to return home and basically got away with having 3 bags of meth in the hotel room, overdosing a porn star and potentially killing the dude. And then he gets allowed to go home, emphasizing the difference between a conservative arrest and a Democrat arrest, whereas a conservative would be arrested, prosecuted, executed. A Democrat gets to go home and be there in time for dinner. So the good thing that has come out of this is Andrew Gillum is now out of the scene with politics, and we can hope that Democrats around the country are going to start being exposed for the absolute nastiness, the circles that they hang out in, the devious activity, the Satanism, and all of the cultism that they follow and practice. And the more we can get exposed, the less we have to deal with these kind of absolute idiots running for office again. There's no way that we will ever have to panic worrying about Gillum jumping back into a race that was rigged, that he still managed to lose. And, you know, he's out of the picture and we're good. So just wanted to put that out there. But what do you got, Pete, for
I just want to answer DM's question. Said, why wasn't he arrested? It's almost like asking why Ed Buck wasn't arrested after the second male escort overdosed in his Hollywood apartment. The reason is because these people work on a different plane than the rest of us. They work on a different plane than the rest of us. It's not because they couldn't prove that the drugs weren't his. He was there with drugs and hookers. Gay male escorts with drugs. He had drugs in his system. He was drunk, throwing up on the bed. They could have arrested him. They would have arrested me. They would have arrested you. But because of the people who are on a higher plane than us, they don't get arrested. But hopefully what Alex says is that they're going to be out of the picture for a little while. So if you're a Democrat donor and have a couple of dead hookers in your apartment, it's okay. The third one, then we have to do something about it. So Gillum has a couple of more hookers to overdose.
They changed that rule. She says they changed that rule a few years back after so many were overdosing and people were running away and not calling for help. She says, I don't believe anyone can be arrested at the scene of an overdose. That's the way it is in New Jersey now anyway. The thing is, when there's an overdose, I don't know about every state, but I don't even know about what the feds are doing now because the laws all change constantly. But in a situation where there's an overdose and there's a potential death, they will blood test everybody involved, and if they come up hot with the drugs that are in the possession in that room, even if they don't have their hands on it, they can still take them for possession. And then they can put with intent to distribute or all kinds of different stuff on there. So, like I said, I don't know what the laws are now because they changed too quickly. The Democrats changed laws to cover themselves and to make sure they can prosecute Republicans easier. So there's no telling.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
He just mentioned it. All right. Well, if that's all you got, I think I'm pretty close to all I got.
I'm done.
A whole hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So we got to stick another 14 years. If you don't have any
symptoms, don't get tested.
That's kind of then the duh category. Here's the thing. Okay, real quick. These drive-by testing centers, please do not go there. They are not testing centers. They are collection points. Those are DNA testing centers. Why they're trying to do a roundup of the cattle and a mass DNA check, I don't know. But I'd stay the hell away from them. If you see them, run. Go the other way. If you don't have symptoms, don't go let somebody stick shit into your throat and into your nose. It's not necessary.
Then all of a sudden you come up with symptoms.
Try to test anything unconstitutional. Good. Right. Yeah. Imagine that. What if they did have it pre-dipped and stuck that stuff in your nose? So stay the hell away from those. But
Phil,
all right. With that being said, all my folks over here, Jeff B.
Jeff B is posting numbers up in the chat. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, we got to be on some kind of delay. And he just posted negative 3,000, and it just poop. I'm watching it. I'm watching it right now. The Dow Industrial has just lost.
Oh, you're watching the stocks?
3,000 points. No, 2,957.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing how the Fed brings our rate to zero and they still take a dive? Because nobody trusts the Fed anymore. Guess what's going to happen? The Fed's going to collapse. The banks are going to collapse. President Trump's going to jump up and he's going to say, look, the National Treasury has a stockpile of money built up at this point. We have been producing Treasury notes for the U.S., and we are going to immediately start using those for transactions. We no longer need the Fed. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Trump won't let the banks collapse. You want to know why? Is because Obama bailed out the banks.
I'm all ears.
Obama bailed out the banks, and for this specific reason right here. And if Trump bails out the banks so the American people don't lose their life savings, they can't say a damn thing to him. He has that in his back pocket and he knows it.
No. Here's the deal. When we go to a transition to the National Treasury, the money that exists in the Federal Reserve will be immediately worthless. But what'll happen is that we're going to get a thing called a Jubilee. And the Jubilee is going to relieve people of their debt, a one-time reset of life. And at that time, whatever cash you have, you can take it and exchange it dollar for dollar for the Treasury notes. The problem is these people that are drug dealers and stuff like that have piles of cash, they're going to lose, because when they do this dollar for dollar transition, you're going to have to be able to show that there's a reason you have that money, and if you have tax records showing a history of that money.
And
so
could that be?
That's what's going to happen. But if the banks don't collapse, then the people won't be mad enough at the Fed in order to deal with the transition that needs to take place.
And could that be why? Could that be why the priority of this administration was to get this country energy independent off of the OPEC petrodollar?
Yes.
Could that be?
Right.
Could
Yeah,
that be?
the fiat currency that's backed by liquid. Yes,
Okay.
It could.
I'm done.
All right. We could do this all day. I mean, we could just go from subject to subject, but we got to save something for future shows.
Yeah.
So we will be back here again on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Thank you to all my folks hanging out on DVP. I appreciate your ice cream, diamond, and the lemon. Thank you. Golf clap. Thank you to everybody over here on YouTube and on Facebook. Appreciate you guys checking me out. All right, that's enough. Shut them up.
All right.
All of my mods over here, thank you guys. You rock the joint. Mr. Pete, appreciate you. You rock the joint too. You always make it a good time over here.
I try.
If for a good time, please call. No. Anyway, all right, y'all. We're going to get out of here. Stay in the fight.